Hello everyone and welcome to game number 1 in a series between Hawk and Cechi. I almost said War Chief Rich because Huntress Shaped is watching the game. Anyway, Cechi spawning as the purple undead on the bottom left hand side of Secret Valley. Meanwhile, over here on the top right, we do have Hawk spawning as the light blue human. This is GCup 70. This is one of the, I believe, the quarterfinal rounds or semi-final rounds. Don't want to give too much away as I will be casting the rest of some of the games throughout this series. But let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening here as we do see Ultra of Kings being placed down. And it looks like it is going to be your typical undead versus human matchup. Now I am speeding things up to 4 times speed just so I can get more of the game and get more things taken care of throughout the day. No need to really watch those first 2 minutes as the basic strategies are pretty much the same. Now, what are we going to be unfolding here at the 2-minute mark? That is going to be the big question. Death Knight is going to be making his way out. You can see that the graveyard is a little bit delayed. So it could be perhaps a later Crypt Fiend strategy. Quick Water Elemental being dropped down. That Null Overseer dealing a lot of damage to that Water Elemental, but that Water Elemental will be gone in just a little bit. Meanwhile, the Null Assassin spreading all of that poison love around, constantly changing targets as the Null Overseer will get taken down as well, dropping a Gloves of Haste. And there's the, well, self-destruction on that Water Elemental to make sure the Death Knight does not get any easy bits of experience. Now, Death Coil does go down. Poor peasant was unable to get back to work in time, had slightly less than 100 hit points, hence the instant death. But this is not looking good for Cechi. Cechi really needed to perhaps try to catch his opponent off guard a little bit more than that. Perhaps you can use that Rado Necromancy to summon up a couple of easy minions there. As you can see, the Water Elemental and Footman are engaging here. Death Knight is going up against the Archmage here, and a little bit of fighting back and forth. There's level 2, so Brilliance Aura is going to be coming online, as the Death Knight is now going to look to use the Skeletal Minions to apply a little bit more pressure. Archmage does have that range capability, 24 to 30 damage per fireball, as those long-distance fireballs do track their targets rather well, as now we see the Footman heading back across. Now we should be heading, oh no, it looks as though we are going to be going into an expansion type game based upon the number of peasants we are looking at. Now, human players do love to expand early and often. One of the racial, I guess, advantages for humans, they can speed build their town halls. Also, they have some of the best towers in the game, arguably the best towers in the game, in terms of ease of build and how effective they are at stopping any sort of harassment. Now, the Death Knight was a little bit late on that Death Coil there, hence no additional experience, even though the Death Coil landed on, well, an already dead unit. Death Knight not getting that one either, and then Cechi is just really taking a lot of damage here. Now the big question is going to be, is this Ogre Magi going to fall? And it looks as though it might, and beautifully done there, purposely repositioning all of those peasants and footmen to switch and go behind the target to not allow the Death Knight to get within melee range. Hawk playing at a very high level today, doing the small things well, and should be able to come out on top here as the Archmage is sitting at level 3 with a very high amount of mana. If you take a look at him, he's already sitting at 570 mana. He almost has more mana than he does have hit points, and that is only going to continue to grow there. All right, Footmen now making their way to try and put pressure on this Death Knight. Death Knight is sitting at level 1. As you can see, now the Crypt Fiend is taking a bit of damage. Is the Footman going to be able to finish it off? That is the big question here. If this Crypt Fiend does get taken down, that is going to be a huge loss, as yes, it does get taken down there. Meanwhile, the Death Knight already coming back over. You can see there is an Arcane Tower in position. Militia now trying, or the peasants are trying to walk away here, and it looks like, oh, a big denial there once more, as the Death Knight, really only on the board with 105 experience, doesn't have that much to show. What can the Undead do? Well, the Undead is back at home. Halls of the Dead. Yes, Halls of the Dead. He should be getting up that Lich already. And Slaughterhouse. I mixed up Halls of the Dead and Necropolis for a second. Yes, the Halls of the Dead is absolutely necessary there. As you can take a look back off to the north, the Slaughterhouse is going to be trained up, and soon we will be having obsidian statues and those all-important destroyers in the matchup. classic play by Hawk using the Fountain of Health to go up against the Red Drake here. You can tell that the damage here is not that much. As you can see, now the Archmage just going to continue to attack and take down that Red Drake. There is also one creep sitting right there. It's going to fall. Scourge Bone Chimes now being left behind, and the Archmage now with level 2 Brilliance Aura should, well, nope, just a little bit shy, but once it does get to level 2 Brilliance Aura, should be able to get, well, a large amount of water elementals out on the field. You do have to worry, though, that because the destroyers will be devouring magic, but water elementals are a fair enough decent counter against those units. Now, Footman with Defend, reflecting back some of that damage, but walking very, very slowly. Archmage unable to deny that Footman there, as the Death Knight does get to level 2. Water Elemental may get taken out as well, and yes, it does. The Vampiric Aura, however, is giving these Footmen a second chance on life, or I'm just continuing as it tries to run away. It looks as though the Footman, down to 43 hit points, will be able to escape. You can see that damage just constantly being reflected back, and that is a high bit of damage indeed, as we are looking at a Crypt Fiend almost taken down. No Death Coil at the pretty much last possible moment, as the Footmen are still trying to get in front here. You can see that Vampiric Aura, all of those Crypt Fiend little, well, I guess, spider attacks now bouncing all the way back home, as we do see an Obsidian statue in play trying to save those units. All right, Vampiric Aura, not the best item for an Archmage. Perhaps a Mountain King will be able to get a little bit later. What is that Crypt Fiend doing? That Crypt Fiend perhaps thinking that, hey, you know what, I can do a little bit of damage as well, not realizing that everyone else is trying to save him, as it looks as though, yes, the Death Knight gonna throw down another Death Coil to save another Crypt Fiend. All right, the expansion is pretty much up and operational. Hawk is going to be looking into a very, very strong mid-game now. He's also placing down a large number of towers, and do we see the Lumber Mill? Lumber Mill is off over here, so the Lumber Mill will allow for those guard towers and possibly more important, that masonry upgrade. The problem right now is that the entire army of Hawk is pretty much comprised of Footmen and Water Elementals, which are extremely weak to destroyers. Footmen gonna get taken down there, and this is that little bit of a comeback that is just so strong for the Undead. Undead with powerful Crypt Fiends, Obsidian Statues, Death Knight, and Lich. Even though they are slightly lower in level, that faster movement speed because of that Unholy Aura, allowing them to constantly reposition and get into a little bit more of a favorable situation. Death Knight, however, still only at 229 experience, and that means that the Lich is also still not that close to level 2 as of yet. All right, Water Elemental, I guess feeding experience to the Death Knight there. There it goes. As we now see the Footmen looking to try and put pressure here. No, one Nerubian Tower and a Black Citadel nearly done. Going to be enough to push back this entire army here, as the Archmage now looks to continue this fight once more. So far, we can see Obsidian Statues, 2 of them in play. Destroyers not going to be available for another about 50 seconds once the Slaughterhouse gets on those upgrades. Death Knight now, but just moving this Water Elemental into a corner and going to buy himself a little bit of distance and time, as the Death Knight does finish it off. Now back off over here, Castle now being upgraded, Blacksmith being added, and this is what I am curious about. Are we getting the Masonry upgrade? Yes, no, we are getting the Lumber Harvest upgrade. No Masonry upgrade at all, so the guard towers will be staying at 500 hit points and 5 armor. Panda now being added in here as well, so the Panda is just going to completely blow over all of these Footmen. This is not going to be a good fight for Hawk. He really needs to perhaps catch his opponent off guard or do something else. The unit compositions just counter all of Hawk's units, and that, my friend, is going to end up being a very, very painful matchup, as we now see the Destroyer form nearly completed. Now, we may be looking at a transition into perhaps, well, I don't see any other production building. Knights, not a good call. Riflemen, oh, there we go. Workshops now being added. And a Mountain King in a very, very strange location. He is currently stuck. This tree needs to get cut down in order to make anything really happen, as the Footmen are just rushing in here to try and take down a tower or 2. All right, there goes one tower, but that tower definitely not worth it, as the Footmen, oh, no, Lich actually gets the level 2 there, finishes off another Footman there, as we now see Devour Magic happening a lot. All right, are we going to see the Destroyer be able to escape down to 61 hit points? The negative armor is right there, as that Destroyer hiding purposely above the tree line, and it looks like it will be able to, well, regroup with that Death Knight and perhaps heal a little bit up once more. All right, a little bit of healing action coming underway. Death Knight is also providing a little bit of healing as well as the Destroyer. No, wait, no, that is Essence of Mana, so the Destroyer is not getting healed at all. But the Death Knight, if it does get to level 3, which it will right here, a 400 hit point Death Coil should be landing on that Destroyer. There you go, back up to now 536. Archmage now still wandering around here, and this is going to be a strange situation. This Red Drake is going to fall, and once this Red Drake falls, it is going to drop a very powerful item that the Archmage cannot pick up. That is just absolutely a bad day here. There is the Panda completely blowing over everything right there as we're looking at, I don't even know what additional units we're going to be having. Mountain King now out on the field. It looks as though the Red Drake is going to drop a Robe of Magi +6. That is going to be beneficial either for the Lich or even for the Panda, as extra mana is always very useful. Hawk's strategy is not your typical strategy, but we are getting into a fair number of flying machines now, and flying machines can completely destroy a destroyer army in a matter of seconds, depending on whether or not the destroyers have mana. The flying machines are slightly faster, so in these matchups here, whoever engages at the proper time will come out ahead. Mountain King looking to engage off over here. Mountain King does not have the Pendant of Energy. I would have thought the Pendant of Energy would have been given to the Mountain King now. It bumps him back up to, what, 375 mana, and the Archmage doesn't lose all that much mana either. Meanwhile, back off over here, Lich is at level 3, Death Knight at level 3, Panda is almost at level 3 as well. So a 4-1 versus a 3-3-2, as the Mountain King is still in a little bit of trouble. All right, Mountain King gonna look to gain a little bit more experience. All right, off over here to the north, it looks like Cechi is just gonna have a very, very easy time clearing out the northern creep camp here. Death Knight staying at 3. The Panda gets to 3. So it is going to be a full 3-3-3 with a Tome of Experience now being left behind. Death Knight quickly picks that up. And if I believe well, is it going to get to level? No, it's not going to be quite enough experience to get to the next level. 24 experience shy. All right, Griffins and Flying Machines. No animal war training as of yet. Crypt Fiends, there are 2, 3, 4 of them. So the Crypt Fiends, if they actually try to go after the flying machines, if they use the web on the flying machines, the Griffins are going to be extremely, extremely powerful. They are good at taking down obsidian destroyers, or obsidian statues, as we now see the destroyers are right here. There's a bit of anti-magic, and oh, there goes the flying machines. There's a Scroll of Town portal. Units do need to try and get away. Mountain King needs to back off. Everyone is trying to stay just within range, as the Death Knight will get to 4 here and get level 2 Unholy Aura. All right, more Griffins being trained up. You can see Stormhammers being added as well. 71 over 78 supply. Level 1 weapons upgrades coming online. Knights being added in as well. Animal war training still not done. So those Griffin Riders are going to be able to finish off these creep camps very easily, though. You can see how much damage they do, and every single creep camp on the map has been cleared out. Archmage does have a Staff of Sanctuary. Paladin, the full human trifecta hero combination, now out on the field as the Knights are being trained to try and counter the Crypt Fiends. We are currently at a high upkeep. Nope, I believe he just purposely killed off one of his own peasants in order to stay in low upkeep. And you can see it right there, right now, just getting, what, I believe twice as much gold as his opponent. 67 over 80 compared to 80 over 80. The longer this game goes now, the more awkward it is going to be for Cechi. Cechi needs to figure out a way to establish an expansion. Flying Machine currently sitting at 1-0 upgrades. So researching the gunpowder and the swords, a little bit awkward there, as animal war training is also being researched as well. Back over here, center spot. What are we going to be looking at? This is the key point. Obsidian statues currently in play. We see one Frostworm in as well as the Boneyard is training up a second. Flying Machine should be able to do a lot of damage to those Frostworms, but the Frostworms may be able to one-shot a Flying Machine, considering the armor type and, well, hold on, 105, no, it will not be able to one-shot, but it will be able to deal a significant amount of damage, slow them down, and cause a fair bit of problems. Flying Machines are at 200 hit points. They do have Command Aura helping them deal 10% extra damage. Griffin Riders also in the air, 975 hit points. So those Griffin Riders are going to be difficult to take out, as well as there is an Abomination on the field, but no Disease Cloud as of yet. Shade patrolling around now. Guard towers currently sitting at, well, no upgrades, with Masonry upgrades level 1 currently coming into play. And I don't know what the players are waiting for. Right now you can see level 2 weapons upgrades coming online, and then following that is going to be weapons upgrades. Ivory towers being placed down, so we could be looking at a potential town hall here in just a bit. The main town halls, have about another 4.5 minutes to go before they are out. 4.5 minutes means that the Undead is going to be mining no gold momentarily, and that is going to really set him behind. All right, let's take a look back off to the north here. Ivory Towers, Arcane Towers, Guard Towers, not yet quite ready. Shade is up there, and it is spotting everything. As you can see, there in comes the damage, quickly canceling those towers, knowing that by canceling those towers, if they are destroyed, you are not giving experience to your opponent. Knights seem to be ready to go. Weapons upgrades, our armor upgrade, level 1, trying to get done here. Are we going to be going in for a major fight? Guard towers are in position. High upkeep, massive repairs, but not going to be enough. Flying Machines getting into position. Shackles now going down on the 2 Frostworms right there. Frost Nova's going down. Archmage in the backfield, 3 units in the back, deciding to finally join in on the fight, as it looks like 1 unit will get taken down. There goes another. So many Griffins getting webbed down, but the Undead army seems to be disappearing right before my eyes, as the Griffin Riders finish off the Panda there. Knight still in play, -0 armor right now, continuing this fight. Flying Machines doing a good job trying to pick off the remaining units, and it looks like the Dragonhawk Riders are doing a good job focusing down the Destroyers. Destroyers do not do all too well against the Dragonhawk Riders, especially with Flying Machine backup. Staff of Sanctuary brings back a Griffin, and that Griffin was not that low on hit points, so he will be rejoining in on the fight momentarily. Stormbolt, is the Frostworm going to get taken down? It looks like yes, it will. That Scroll of Town Portal, not enough. Not early enough, as we see the GG well played. Hawk taking game number 1, even though he lost the hero score, definitely coming out ahead in the resources. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.